some little films from Monogram. I was the lead. Bamba and the Jungle Girl. I was the star of that with Johnny Sheffield. People always remind me. I said, okay. I remember I sat next to Walter Mirisch, the great producer,
right,
one evening, and he said, Karen, what was your first film? And I said, oh, The High and the Mighty. And he said, what about Bamba and the Jungle Girl? I said, Bamba. And I said, well, how do you know about that film? I never talk about that. He said, I produced it. Don't you remember? I said, no, I didn't remember you produced it. I said, well, I'll always talk about it from now on, Walter, because you produced it, you know.
right.
But anyway, that was my first major film. Let's put it that way. The High and the Mighty was. And I was very lucky to get that Golden Globe.
Did you enjoy that film?
Are you? Well, yes, of course. I mean, you have to ask me. I mean, who wouldn't enjoy a major film, getting a chance to be in a major with John Wayne, who was, of course, always the most important star for so many years, and all the other great talents that were in that film. Jan Sterling, I had made a little film with Jan Sterling. I played a small, very small part in The Vanquish when I was 16 years old. And she remembered me, but she became my mentor after The High and the Mighty. Yeah. And then my second big film was a film called Man with a Gun, and Jan was the star with Robert Mitchum, and the third lead, they didn't know who to cast. I had seen about it, and they didn't want me. So I ran into Janny, and she said, why didn't they want you? I said, you got the Golden Globe. Why wouldn't they want you? I said, well, I don't look enough like you. I have to be a young version of you. And she was platinum haired, you know. And I was just kind of a honey blonde at the time. So she went in without telling me, in to see the producer and the director. And she changed her hair to my color and said, now can Karen get the part? And I got that part. And I said, Janny, how can I ever thank you? And she said, just do it for others. And I've been doing that ever since. And then I did another film with Janny. And then we became very, very close friends. In fact, I was with her when she died. So I stayed very close to Janny for so many years. And she was one of the really great gals in this industry. She really, really was. So anyway, so that did get the, so now I'm off the subject. But in case one story, you asked me one thing and at least 10 others. So I'm so sorry.
No, I love it. I'm following you because it's sort of like, I just picture the Yellow Brick Road. And it's the Golden Brick Road because you have, again, I'm going to follow you. I mean, now the High and the Mighty, which you got the Golden Globe for, what number was that? How many films? I mean, your first one is Bamba, and then.
No, the Vanquish, I had like 3 lines.
Oh, right.
And it was Army Bound with Stanley Clements, Monogram, and then Bamba and the Jungle Girl, and then The High and the Mighty. But I was really introduced because people didn't see those movies. They were little, but they were great lessons for me. You know, it was a great way to learn because, you know, I had no experience in film. I had no experience on the stage, although a little experience on the stage because I used to do a little theater when I was in high school here in town to get some experience. But, you know, it's different when you do film. It's similar, but there's a difference in a way. Right. You kind of overact a little bit on the stage, a little bit. And then in film, you have to cut it back.
Right.
You have to be more real, actually, in film.
Right.
But I love theater and live television because of the fact that you get a chance to work and develop that character. You don't get a chance in television if it's not live because you have rehearsal periods. You may have a reading, but you don't get a chance to really get in deeply into that character unless the show plays for 5 or 6 years. Then you're always refining that part and finding new things about that character.
Question that I have about, let's say, for people are saying that they want a Golden Globe or they want an Oscar. Did you feel as an actress, did you feel different doing that role in The High and the Mighty? Or did you feel like I have an extra spark in this compared to the others that you did, or you were just doing your thing?
No, I never felt that I had anything extra special. I thought the film was extra special and I was lucky. The one thing it assured us in those days, this is 1954, it assured us of going on with a career. if you get a Golden Globe or you're in a major film like The High and the Mighty wasn't that day, it assured you of continuous work. But every time I got a role, and I don't care how many times I got a role and worked on it and did it, it was like, I'll never be able to do this. How am I going to do this? Who is this person? I have to make her a person. There's just lines on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
What do you do with those lines? You know, who is she really? And so you write the backstory. They teach this in acting school, but I didn't go to acting school. So, but I knew instinctively to do that, and do everything you can to breathe life into that character, and to make her real, and give her a point of view. If you don't have a point of, if she doesn't have a point of view, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
And if she doesn't have one, you got to give her one. For why she does anything, even why she's even there.
Yeah.
You know? And then it was interesting because when I worked opposite Jerry Lewis in The Disorderly Orderly,
Yeah.
I had a lot of respect for his work. I think he was a genius, but I did not like him at all. And so I really played myself. It was really easy to say some of the lines that character said, real, for real.
Right.
And,
Classic. Classic.
So it was something I learned over a period of time when I was more relaxed about me
Yeah.
being good, better, and different. It wasn't a matter of that. It was a matter of every time. And I think Piper would say this too, and I think almost any actress who's been lucky enough to be in this business and survive it would say that every time you start anything, it's like starting from the very beginning. It's like looking at that mountain, thinking I'm never going to be able to climb this mountain, you know,
Right.
and hoping that your work is good enough. So it's all about the work with me. It's always been about the work. And I find that, and you know, it never changes. Not for me anyway. You never can feel secure completely. And there's so many wonderful actors today, really great ones, new ones I've never even heard of. I don't know how they're going to survive. There's so much product out there, at least in our day, and Piper's in my day, and others like us. You know, there was assured work, pretty much,
Yeah.
if you were successful, but not so much today.
Yeah. Now, how was it working as a lead on the television show Johnny Ringo, Aaron Spelling's show?
Okay. Well, two things. The first thing is one of my other earlier films after The High and the Mighty was a film called Mad at the World, where I played a girl of easy virtue. There was on this at lunch every day. There was a little guy sitting off by himself with these big eyes, you know.
Yeah.
And I kept looking at him and thinking. So I went over to him one day and I said, "May I sit with you?" He said, "Oh, you're a star. You can't do that." I said, "What?" He said, "You're you're the lead in the picture." I said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Where are you from?" "Texas." I said, "Oh, me too." And I said, "I see you have a wedding ring. You're married." "Yes." I said, "What does she do?" She said, "She's an actress." "Okay." "Is she working?" "No, not really." I said, "Okay, I get too much work offered me." Now, this is what Jan Sterling, remember, Jan Sterling said, you know, do it for others. So I said, let me have your phone number. Do you mind? And if I see something I can't do, I'll call you. Does she have an agent? Yes. He's not very effective, right? No, he's not. I said, they very rarely are effective. You get your own work in this industry. So I said, so tell you what, give me your number and I will call you. Well, I did. And I got his wife started. And she was Carolyn Jones. She did damn well. Anyway, not because of me, because she was talented, but at least I helped her get started. So time goes by and I get a call from CBS saying, there's a Western. I said, a Western? I said, oh, please, a Western? Yes, a new producer writer has requested you for this Western called Johnny Ringo. Okay. I said, okay. He says he knows you. He knows me? What's his name? He said, Aaron Spelling. I said, I don't remember. It rings a kind of a bell, but I don't really remember who that is. Well, he knows you. And he said you were very good to him. And so he wants to offer you this role. So it was an offer I really couldn't say no to, right? So it was Aaron, very sweet guy. He really was. And I said, Aaron, I'm the only known person in this whole show, but I don't want to be stuck in the town. I mean, as a pretty decoration piece to Johnny, I want to go and get in the action. Can I not be, more like a hillbilly? I mean, like a tomboy? Can I be that instead of a fluffy, pretty thing? No, no, you can't. I said, why? You're afraid because this is your first venture and you're afraid to take a chance with that kind of character in this thing? He said, yes. So I said, okay. So I did it, but it was very unsatisfactory to me as an actor because I was there as a decoration. So I did so many of them. I can't remember, not too many, but maybe I did the first season and then I bowed out and went on to do the things.
Right.
But I do adore Aaron, and I did adore my leading man. He was a very sweet guy, Don Durant. We did autograph shows together later in our lives. After I was a long time retired, and he was too, but we did shows, signing autographs for these autograph shows. Anyway, very sweet man. He's now passed away.
Yeah.
But that's my Aaron Spelling story. But no, I didn't like doing Johnny Ringo. Really, it was just not. It wasn't exciting enough for me to play that character. It was nothing for me to chew on, to be something, and to do something that I thought that I could do better than just being.
Well, it's so important to do stuff that feeds you, and yeah. And
I like challenge. I love challenges. Live TV, and Piper will tell you, is very scary. Actually, she did some wonderful things live, fabulous things. She had some great scripts and some great directors he worked with too. But I did too. I remember when I started on live television, I started with Arthur Hiller, who nobody ever heard of Arthur Hiller in those days, But I did several things with Arthur and Boris Segal, and Lamont Johnson was my leading man for many of those shows. And then he became a director, and he directed me with Sarah Churchill and The Old Maid.
Right.
And so I knew Lamont. He was a wonderful director, a great actor to work opposite. So those were such exciting days, actually. And it's so much fun when you get to see them later in life, and they're so successful now, and he was quite something. Arthur was a dear sweetheart, a real sweet soul, and so was his wife. So anyway.
Well, it's amazing to I mean, a Golden Globe winner, an Emmy nominee, guest star in over 90 television shows and 10 motion pictures. And what Life magazine called you the busiest actress in television?
Yep. Yeah, they used to follow me around when I was doing live television. And I was going from one show to another. And when I worked with Piper, interestingly enough, I left my clothes with Piper because I was going to come back to Los Angeles, get out of my apartment, and come back to New York and study. That's really what I wanted to do, because I'd never studied. And I kept getting work. And I never got back there. So one day I got a call from Barbara Eden, who was a contemporary of us,
Yeah.
And she said, well, I have to go to something, and I don't have anything to wear. Can I wear your so-and-so thing? And I said, yes. I said, just take anything you like. It's okay with me. I never did get back to New York. I could have been braver and could have said, I'm stopping working and I'm going to go to New York and really study hard. But, it's hard to turn down work too. And
oh, yeah.
And maybe it was fated that way because it finally led me to Stanley.
Right.
So that changed my life. So I think sometimes things are what they're supposed to be, and you're supposed to maybe just do what you're trapped into doing, and maybe it was for a good reason.
You got Stanley and the clothes,
Oh, that was years. I said, you're wearing them anyway? Yeah, I am. I said, okay.
I laughed earlier a couple minutes ago because I pictured you saying, and now that I'm back in contact with Piper, I'm going to get my clothes back.
I don't sure remember that, but yes, I left them there because I really wanted to. I was so inspired by Piper, really. And she's really Rosetta, that's really who she is. And I used to call her Rosie. But I was inspired to do that kind of work because I was always about being good, about being great at what I did. That's I'm still that way. I'm producing now. I'll tell you one thing, it's harder than acting. I would be an actor any day than being a producer because it's really hard. But I've been lucky. We have 5 things in development right now. My company and with Kat and my other daughter Jennifer, my youngest daughter, because I know you know who Kat is. Well, my youngest daughter Jennifer is an auteur filmmaker. She just made her first film. She wrote it, produced it, directed it, stars in it, and does the music in it. She's a musician and actor and
I
filmer.
love that.
It's called Makusa. It's a short film,
Right.
but she's starting her second short film coming up in the next few months, which is a comedy. This is a very serious, Makusa is a very serious short film. And it's basically about classical music. She's a classical musician, pianist. And so she takes composers of classical music's lives, finds an incident in it, and then develops a story out of it. And she's in all of them as an actor, but we show other actors in some of the other ones with her. But she's on tour. So she's getting a lot of focus from us right now. Kat and I are helping her, taking care of her.
Yeah.
So
Are you craving to act more again?
no. When I close the door on something, I don't, I finished my last show. It was called Wild Wild West. It was the last TV show I ever did. They had written it for me opposite Carol O'Connor. And I wanted to get out of it because I knew I was going to be marrying Stanley on the 1st of September. But I couldn't tell anybody. So I had to go through with the show. We finished at 11 o'clock that night. And the next morning, Stanley picked me up at my mother's. We went to Ventura County to get our license so nobody would know we were getting married in his living room that afternoon at 4 o'clock. And of course, at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the newspaper comes out and they had it on the front page. So we didn't, so the secret wasn't a secret after all. I guess in Ventura County, we thought we were doing a really special hiding of the fact that we were getting married, but it didn't seem to happen. Everybody knew it. So anyway. And I just closed the door on acting. I knew that was my last scene, my last line. I couldn't tell anybody, but I was ready. I was 33. I've been working since I was like 16.
Yeah.
And I thought, if I'm ever going to do this, this is the one, and this is the time. So I never looked back.